everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Christina, and today I'm going to be sharing 7 all new Christmas decor DIYs. Each project is really simple and easy to create, and they have an elegant high-end look. I really hope that you enjoy today's video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Now let's get right into it. For the first DIY, I'm going to be starting with these 2 mini golden scroll frames. These ones I did pick up from Hobby Lobby, and they're from the Paper Studio. And then I also printed this Christmas tree photo on a piece of white cardstock, and then also this reindeer and Santa photo. Both of these I did purchase from Etsy, and I'll have a link down to them in my description box. And once I had them printed, I cut them down, and I did do them to where they were 1.5 inches wide so that they will fit inside of those frames. You could leave the frames as is, but I wanted them to be a little bit of a deeper gold, so I'm using the Rub and Buff in the color Antique Gold. And as you can see, the one I've done is on the right, and it's just a little bit deeper, and I just like that shade a lot better. So I did both of those, and then for the oval frame, I needed a back piece to place my photo on, so I'm just using the scrap oval wood shape, and I'm placing Mod Podge on the wood and then putting my Santa and reindeer photo right in the center. It won't fit exact, but it'll be fine later on. So once I have the photo on, I then use some Mod Podge over top of the photo just to make sure that it sticks onto my wood. Then once it was dry, I used some scissors to just cut around those edges so that they wouldn't stick out around the oval frame. And then now I'm just simply using some hot glue to glue my wood piece onto my frame. And then because I am making these refrigerator magnets, I'm using 2 of these small magnets that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just hot gluing them on the back side. Then for the second frame, I needed a piece for the back, so I'm just using this wood square scrap piece that I had in my stash, and I'm doing those same steps I did with the other one. I'm putting Mod Podge on my wood, then putting my Christmas tree photo right in the center of that, and then doing more Mod Podge over top of my photo. And then once that's dry, I'm going to be hot gluing that to my frame, just making sure that that wood piece is centered so that my Christmas tree is where I need it to be in the frame. Then once I have that on, all I needed to do was add the 2 magnets on the back, and that was it. And here is a closer look of what the magnets look like all finished. I think they are so elegant and beautiful, and it's just something different to add to your Christmas decor this year. Before we get into the second DIY, I do want to let you guys know that today's video is a collaboration with 5 other DIY creators here on YouTube. We're all creating some really beautiful Christmas DIYs. So once you're done watching my video, make sure that you go down in my description box and click on the link to the playlist so that you can check out all of their videos and get some really good Christmas DIYs for inspiration this year. Now back to the DIYs for DIY number 2. For this one, I'm going to be using these 2 ceramic trees that I got from Target in the dollar spot section. And I'm just going to first remove the tags from the trees. And then I really wasn't feeling the color of these since they're like kind of shiny and iridescent. So I'm painting both of the trees with my folk art paint in the color Antique Green. And I did use a brush to paint them, but you could still kind of see that color poking through. So what I ended up doing was just taking that Antique Green and dabbing it over the trees, and that ended up giving me the coverage that I needed. So if you're going to be painting ceramic with iridescent to it, I would definitely recommend using the sponge brush. So next, I still wanted to have the bottom of the tree a gold color, but I needed to touch up where I had got some of the green paint. So here I'm just using my Rub and Buff on a really small paintbrush and just painting over the green. Next, I'm going to be using these 2 candlestick holders. They are both from Hobby Lobby. The smaller one was $3.99 and then the taller one was $5.99, but I got them when they were 40% off. So next I'm going to be taking my Rub and Buff in the color Antique Gold, and I'm just painting this on with a really small paintbrush. I find that by using a paintbrush, it's giving me more coverage than if I were to just rub it on with like a towel or a piece of paper towel. As you can see, I tried to like rub it with the paper towel to see if it would work better, and it actually just took it off. But if you wanted a more tarnished look, that would be the way to go. Once I had the candlesticks all painted, I'm then going to be attaching my trees to the tops of them, and I just used some hot glue to attach both of the trees, and this is what they look like all finished. I think they look so elegant and pretty. They were super easy to do and really affordable as well. Next up is DIY number 3. For this one, I just recently purchased these wooden nutcrackers at Michael's. They came in a pack of 5 and they were $5.99 for all of them. I think that was the sale price, but still very, very affordable. So I've been seeing all of these gold nutcrackers in so many different stores, and I thought, you know what, I can create my own for way less. So here I'm just taking some of my Rub and Buff in the color Antique Gold. As you guys can tell, this is like my go-to. I love this color. And I'm just painting it on with a really small paintbrush, and then I would rub away some of the excess with a paper towel. But it is giving such a beautiful look, and I was able to do all 5 of them for $5.99. So I can put them on tiered trays or a side table, and it was such an easy DIY, and I think it just looks so beautiful and a really easy project that looks high-end. Moving into DIY number 4, for this one I picked up a pack of these glass, just clear ornaments. This came in an 8-pack from Michael's, and it was $7.99. And you can get those at pretty much any craft store. You don't have to just get them at Michael's. So the first thing I did was remove the top of the ornament, and then I'm using a sponge brush to dab on this brown paint color. This color is from Folk Art, and it is called Burnt Umber. So I did 2 coats of this paint. So the first coat I just painted and let it dry, and then when I did the second coat, while the ornament was still wet, I took some baking soda and I sprinkled it over the wet paint so that it would stick. And then I set it down and let it completely dry. And I do want to mention that by dabbing the paint on with the sponge brush, it gave me more coverage and then also a little bit of texture. So once all of that dried, I used a chip brush to just wipe away any of the excess baking soda. And this is just gonna give even more texture to my ornament. And then once I have that done, I'm gonna go in with that Antique Gold Rub and Buff on a small paintbrush, and then I'm just very lightly gonna paint it over the entire ornament. And this is just gonna give me kind of like that antique-y look that is so popular and trending right now. I used a few different colors to create all of my ornaments. I did a lot of them in this castle color from Folk Art, and then I did the gold on top, and I just think it's so beautiful. And I did end up using the Rub and Buff on the ornament toppers as well, and then for the hangers I'm just using some of this gold ribbon that I had in my craft stash. Here are some of the ornaments all finished and hanging on my tree. I think they look stunning. For only $7.99, I was able to create what looks like really high-end ornaments, and I know I'll be using these for years to come. Now for DIY number 5, I'm going to be starting with this ornament. It's like a snow globe ornament that I got from Michael's. I'm removing the top hanger, and then I'm using this wood round that used to be on an old project, but I'm just going to be reusing it for this one. I'm painting it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Ivory, and then I'm also using this other wooden piece, and this I believe is from Lowe's, and I'm painting it with that same ivory colored paint. For inside of my snow globe, I'm going to be using these 2 mini houses. These ones came from Michael's last year, and I'm just going to be opening up my snow globe, and on the bottom I needed to put some snow, so I'm just painting on some Mod Podge on the very bottom, and then sprinkling some of this fake snow from Dollar Tree over top, and then just kind of pressing it down so that it sticks really nicely. Once that dried, I then could start attaching my 2 houses, and to do that I'm just using some hot glue. I then wanted to add this mini tree, but I wanted to take off the bottom, so I just held it with some pliers and unscrewed the wooden bottom. And then to attach it, I'm just using some hot glue and then sticking the bottom into the cork. I just placed the dome back over top, and then now I can start making my pedestal. I hot glued my round piece onto my like finial piece, and then I hot glued my snow globe on top. I was gonna start painting just around the edges gold, and then I changed my mind and I ended up using the rub and buff on the entire bottom. And then here I'm just using this dark green velvet ribbon, and I created a double bow, and then I'm just using some hot glue to attach it at the very top of my snow globe. And this is the piece all finished. I love how this one turned out. I think it looks so elegant, and it was another really easy project that was affordable to create. Now for DIY number 6. For this one, I collected 3 different size tin cans, going from largest, then a medium, then a smaller one. For the medium and the larger one, I painted both of those with my Waverly paint in the color Ivory. These would be really easy to spray paint if you had some white spray paint, but I did not have any on hand, so I just hand painted them. Then I wanted them to have kind of a rustic look to them, so I'm using some dark brown paint on a stencil brush, and I'm just dry brushing that over the 2 that I just painted white, again just to give them kind of like a distressed rustic look. I'm also going to be using this ornament from Dollar Tree, and I'm just removing the tag and then also the hanger portion and the greenery on this ornament. I'm going to be using it as part of the hat. If you couldn't tell, I am making a snowman, and I'm painting this with some black paint, and I'm also painting that small can that I have with that same black paint. For the scarf for my snowman, I'm using this fabric that I got from Hobby Lobby. I cut a strip for his scarf and then also a strip to go on his hat. I'm also using some of these like pearl stickers. These ones I did pick up from Michael's, and I painted 5 of them black because I thought I was going to use 5 of them, but I ended up only using 2 of them for my snowman's eyes. And then I had this carrot in my Easter like crafting supplies, so I ended up just grabbing that, but I did need to cut it down a little bit shorter because it was a little bit too big for this project. Next, I'm going to start assembling everything. I hot glued the 2 ivory colored cans together, going from largest to smallest, and then I hot glued the ornament on top of my middle can, and then my top smaller can I hot glued on top of that ornament, and that makes my snowman's hat. I'm now wrapping that strip of fabric that I cut around the 2 ivory cans to create my snowman scarf. I just overlapped the 2 pieces, hot glued them into place, and then cut away the long ends. Next, I'm adding my snowman's eyes. Those are the black sticker buttons that I painted, and I'm just hot gluing those where my snowman's eyes would be, and then I used a little bit of pink paint to do some rosy cheeks on my snowman. I then added that carrot nose, and then for his mouth, I ended up using 5 of these sticker gems from Dollar Tree. I painted them black, and then since they were kind of small, I ended up having to cut them down individually, and then I hot glued them on, but I used some really small tweezers to add them on so that I could get them placed perfectly. For the bottom can, I'm adding 3 of these rustic looking bells that I had in my stash to attach them, again just using some hot glue, and I did them all going vertically in a row. I then added this wooden star button in the center of where the scarf crosses, and then for the very top of my snowman's hat, I ended up adding another piece of this fabric just to add some extra detail. And then once I had that added, I thought it would be really cute if I added some greenery. So just some small pieces I hot glued those on, and then I had some of these really mini pine cones that I added as well. Here is my tin can snowman all finished. I'm really happy with how he turned out. He was actually super fun to create, and I've been wanting to make one for a while, and I'm so happy that I did. Now for the 7th and final DIY in today's video. For this one, I'm going to be using 2 of these bottle brush trees. These ones I believe are from Hobby Lobby, and I just used some pliers to hold the tree in place so I could unscrew the bottom. And then I'm going to be using these 2 mini unfinished wood candlestick holders. These ones are from Hobby Lobby, and I'm staining both of them with my folk art wood tint in the color walnut. I'm then using 2 round discs that are the same size as the candlesticks, and I'm staining both of those with that same walnut tint. I'm then hot gluing those round discs on the top of both candlesticks. Then I needed a small hole in the center, so I drilled a hole, and then I'm putting a little bit of hot glue in the hole and then placing the bottom of my bottle brush tree inside. Super easy DIY, and these are perfect for a tiered tray or shelf. I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, I hope that you will consider subscribing. Please be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And don't forget to go and click on the playlist down in my description box so that you can go and watch all of the other creators that are part of today's collab. Thank you so much for watching.